Well, hello and welcome, fellow shapers of the future. Back once again. It's a beautiful day. It's a little bit fresh. The fingers are a little bit cold. Cold fingers. Da-da-da. So yeah, I'm going to start off with something that has been in debate for a while now. I saw a technique used on Bushcraft Sussex, who's very, very good with his woodwork and stuffs, and I've been watching and learning quite a lot from him. So I proposed this to my team of crack scientists, my think tank, my collective, and they said that, you know, this is simply not the case. It's impossible. And I said, how dare you? Impossible? Scientists saying it's impossible? So I fired them immediately. Got a new team of fantastic scientists. Mine's immeasurably more powerful than some people's. And they said, yeah, absolutely, you're correct, 100%. Can we go and hide in our little secret underground layer now and get away from you? And I said, fine, as long as you agree. So me and the scientists have worked out that Bushcraft Sussex, you're right. Who would have thought it? I mean, you know, forget the scientists and all that stuff. But who would have thought it? Who did think it, actually? And was he just lucky, do you think? Oh, I know how to put this thing on here. I'm going to bang it from this end. Strange but true. This has been polished up a little bit. Well, I say polished, it's been sandpapered to 240 grit just to get rid of a little bit of the green algae that was on it. And look at the gorgeous colour on that. I think that's possibly another reason why they might call it ironwood, because this is hornbeam and also named ironwood. Yeah, I mean, it is tough, and it's the toughest in Europe, supposedly, at certain things. But the colour of it looks a little bit rustic, I think. A little bit iron, a little bit... well, it just reminds me of iron. Really? So that might be a double-barrelled reason why it's called ironwood. I have no idea. But I like it. In fact, I love it. It's a very solid, powerful hammer. And now we've got this other one, which, yeah, I can't see anything wrong with that. It's very top heavy, which is what you want. Job's a good one. So I'm just sort of warming up, really, because it is bitter cold. I arrived. So upon thine arrival on my mighty steed, what I often dub to be called Black Lightning, or Black Pearl, or just mighty steed. Yeah, I arrived upon thine mighty steed this morning, and my hands were bloody cold, I have to say. Freezing cold hands. So it's get the kettle on, get a cuppa, and warm up. What I'm going to do today depends a little bit on the weather, I guess. There is often things you have to do when you arrive at a pre-made camp. Nature, randomness has a way of making extra work for you, work that you didn't plan to do that day. It turns out one of my very cheap tarps is ripped along a seam rather neatly though, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to repair that. I mean, that was only what, £16 3x3 tarp, very cheap. It's done 2 years, so it's done its thing really, but I'm gonna, you know, get every last little penny's worth out of my tarp, because I think I know a way that I can get more use out of it. So that's to come. I'd like to say I'll make a start on the willow hut, my construction of willow, because I might have told you, I can't remember, but basically you're not allowed structures in the form of cabins, logs piled up on top of each other, and stuff like that, but you are allowed to have a living, growing tent, basically, or outdoor summer house, without planning permission at all. I have noticed on a lot of videos in the past where people's camps have been dismantled really neatly, like, you know, the rope's been severed and then just laid almost flat pack form, and that's definitely not kids that have done that, and that's possibly the landowner, because he's threatened of getting done for planning permission or something, or maybe he just doesn't like you there. But I think that's the main cause for concern, is the landowners getting planning permission to have these constructions. So my plan is living structure, willow, hazel, whatever, doesn't matter. The willow isn't the best. To be fair, it's never been shaped before now, and so it's a little bit random in shape, much like the hazel. But yeah, hopefully there'll be enough for me to form a dome-ish structure with a tunnel, is what I would like, but I'd like a little bit of height on it. So I guess we can only do with what we've got to play with, so that will be telling me what I will do and what I won't do, quite frankly. I could start it off very young, and grow it and shape it as it grows, or I could start it off with a good healthy start, but then perhaps more awkward to shape. I'm not so sure. Anyway, these are all things we shall find out. No visitors on my bird table this morning. I'm being ignored. But yeah, cup of coffee and I'll get back to you. poo. Where's my bird? Ding, ding. That would make a good sling. Right, that's enough buggering around. I was half tempted to have a little kip there actually. It's very comfortable and it's actually quite warm because the wind is blowing this heat in and not the smoke. and it's bloomin' gorgeous. But yeah, I've just been buggering around with raspers and spoke shavers and trying out my new spoke shaver. Okay, so it don't look quite as nifty as my old spoke shaver, but this is about 30-40 years old. I don't know, maybe more, maybe a lot more actually, but I have seen these on the internet, and to get spare blades is a bit of a bugger. So this blade is the original blade, and it's getting a little bit worn. So I love that spoke shaver, I still love it, it's just not as effective as it used to be. So this I sharpened up on my sharpening jig a couple of months ago or something, I don't know, and it actually does a bloody good job. Of spoke shaving. It does get a bit blocked up now and again. It's taken off some very fine shavings, which is what you want. I mean, it might not be a precision plane or anything like that, but I just like these so much because you can't cut yourself, really. I mean, I can do that all day long, and that's not going to cut me unless I do something really, really stupid. So you can work the blade towards you without doing any damage, but also you can turn it around, I guess. Oh, it's getting a bit more of a bite that way. It's not bad, and all it is, like I say, bit of electric tape holding down. I mean, I was going to put polymorph around it, but I weren't sure if the concept would work or not. And there's a slight bow in there, otherwise it's just a normal piece of tough wood with a butter knife. I'm going to work on that a little bit more. Yeah. The other thing I'm working on is this, which is a finely balanced piece of hazel. Yeah, that's hazel, and this is a piece of ironwood. Hornbeam should be perfect for this sort of thing. It shouldn't wear down very quickly, because I've made one of these before. By the way, this is going to be just a weather vane as such. I might do a little weather station on a pole or something. So yeah, the idea is, I had one before on the allotment. It was very similar to this and I loved it, but what I'd done differently was I didn't have this piece of hard wearing wood, and it soon, surprisingly quickly, wore through the wood that I used. Even with just this sat on a pin, it wears through it. Well, obviously, but you know, I didn't think it would wear through it that quickly. So now we're going to put a piece of hardwood on here and pretty much bung a nail through there, I guess. Then add a tail. You don't really need to add a point, but add a tail. Colour that red. and then that will hopefully spin round nicely. Hopefully. What else was I mucking around with? Yep, I'm bringing this back out. At home I have got a piece of willow board and a piece of willow, chunky piece of willow, because loads of pheasants, a chunky piece of willow rod, which I might thin yet, and I'm going to have another go at the bow drill, basically. I think it can be achieved even in humid weather like it is now. I mean, we're talking 95% humidity because of the recent rains. But I think in here I might be able to control the humidity a little bit more and get it going. And that would be the challenge, I think, to do fire bow drill in any weather, outdoors, even in the winter. Yeah. Haven't quite given up yet on this. Well, I never will give up. There will be fire, one way or the other. I've also replaced the wick, the jar, everything actually. I've got a complete new setup. I want to put another jar over top of that little jar so we can protect it from the wind. At the moment there isn't much wind and it's going nice and straight up, but quite often there'll be a little bit of an undercurrent somewhere in here, and that'll blow it at an angle a little bit, and that causes just a little bit of smoke I've found that way. But as long as it stays like that, that's fine, that's perfect. And that took about a minute, I think. All I've done, well, you saw it I hope, just banged that through the top. And a little magnet on the top there just to hold the wick there and keep it from getting that lid too hot. It's like a barrier between the heat and the lid of the glass jar. I don't want the glass jar lid to get too hot. I don't think it's a problem, and I only put a little bit in there. At the most that'll be about 6 hours to get through a night, really, and that will keep moisture out of here. That'll keep the damp, just that small flame. We were discussing this the other day with candles, and yeah, we used to use candles in my younger days, certainly, to give you a little bit of heat in a tent, so long as you've got no drafts and things like that, otherwise it's pointless. The other method we used to use was, I found an old iron bucket just on the side of the road, not completely rusted through, obviously seen better days, but I grabbed that, attached it to my backpack as we travelled, and at the end of the night when everyone had gone to bed, I would scoop the embers into my bucket rather selfishly and bring them in and dump them down on the ground, because it's a similar setup with no ground sheet, a US pup tent, 2 half tents, and I would put this bucket in here and the embers would go nearly all night, keeping it warm. Now and again I'd chuck a little bit of lavender or something on. I'm feeling slightly deflated. I don't tend to have a lot of vitamin C in the winter. I know it's stupid, but then, you know, did we back in the day? But then, yeah, we didn't live very long, did we? Average age of 30 years old or something, probably from lack of vitamins or something, and the lifestyle generally. But I'm gonna have a elderflower cup of tea, and that'll give me just a little bit of vitamin C boost and a little taste of the spring. It always got this slight honey taste about it, that I immediately associate with spring and, quite frankly, better days than this battleship grey colour thing we've got going. And yeah, we'll bring a little bit of sunshine into this cloudy day, hopefully. This is all I've got left. I mean, there's what, maybe 2 left. So I didn't stock up enough this year. I did last year, but this year I didn't get enough of it. I've got an elder tree right next to me. It's the closest tree to this tent, which I absolutely love, because this isn't the first time I've slept under elder trees. My travelling friend, the hedge witch, used to always say that the pixies would visit you in the night if you slept under a elderflower tree. I can't say I've seen many of those little buggers about. In fact, I can't say I've seen any or had any visits. But I like the idea of it. So yeah, I'm camped underneath an elderberry tree. And who knows, maybe there is some magic in it. Some ancient arts. Anyway, I've still got a bottle of beer there that has been here for months. It's getting rather weathered, really, but acai. And I will drink that one night soon. And God help us, quite frankly. What I tend to do anyway is, you know, have a few sips of it in front of the camera, then guzzle it down and pretty much fall asleep, you know, so it's not much of an event really, I guess. You might see me get lively for about 10 minutes, then it's, yeah. I'm not into alcohol. I don't like alcohol. I don't like the effects of alcohol, generally speaking, especially generally speaking with women. Just generally speaking, you know, don't chuck things at me or something. I'm just saying, it doesn't always agree with people, and they don't always see that it doesn't agree with them, which is the problem. It kind of blinds them to its ways a bit. I know this because I've got a brother. So, yeah, enough said. And I've got this beautiful piece of ironwood or hornbeam. And yeah, you just saw me chopping away at it. I'm making a blank, basically, and from there it can go anywhere. It's got a slight curve in there, that's that direction, but otherwise it's quite straight. So, you know, that's a fairly good blank. It can go anywhere from that within that size. And I shall leave it here, probably over winter, keeping it dry up the top there, and then take it home to the colder parts of the house, like the porch, or in my case, anywhere in the house, because it's blooming an old house, and slowly introduce it to heat to dry it out, because this was a piece of living, or was it? No. And just get rid of any moisture that might be left in there, and not too quickly so that it splits, because I'm guessing this is prone to splitting. A lot of hardwoods are. You know, your hawthorns and your blackthorns and your hornbeam. I think they're all vulnerable to splitting. So we'll leave it here. All I've done is just took the bark off. It's now starting to rain. It's not actually meant to, but yeah. So I'll just make sure everything's alright. I'll make my elderflower tea, and if it keeps raining I'll have a little kip. Okay. Sounds like a plan. Oh, and quickly just squeeze this in before it absolutely heaves down. Shout out to Mick and Kaz. I turn up to their Sunday social club, which happens at 8 o'clock UK time, and it's just a general meeting of people, like-minded people. The theme is kind of just outdoors generally, although there is a wild camping aspect, but you don't have to have interest in wild camping even, really. The only rules is no politics, and no current affairs and things like that. Basically keep it light, and keep it happy, and it's a nice happy place on a Sunday evening to go. Strongly recommend you go there. I'll put the links up, but that's Mick and Kaz, and they are Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Yeah, go follow them and maybe see you on Sunday evening. You can just have a chat, a little chinwag, and put the world to rights. Or not really.